We start with this lead story now. Sibanye-Stillwater and its workers, represented by Amcu and NUM, are edging closer to an end to their wage strike. Workers have been protesting for the past 3 months, demanding an increase of 1,000 rand per month. The mine has agreed to a number of the workers' demands and will also provide employees with a once-off 3,000 rand hardship allowance. The trade unions and management are expected to sign the agreement early next week. Sibanye-Stillwater spokesperson James Wellstead joins me now virtually. James, thanks so much for your time. Quite a development here, as we've been reporting for the last few days about the standoff continuing with no signs of light at the end of the tunnel, and here we are on Friday, that light finally appearing. Great relief, I'm sure, on your side. Can you give us details as to what has changed in terms of the offer put on the table?
Evening, Marcel, and evening to the viewers. It's a great relief for all of us. I think, we've been for over 3 months experiencing the strike. It's had a significant impact on our employees and obviously all of the communities and other stakeholders who depend on our operations. So it is a big relief to have some progress and be finally seeing the lights at the end of the tunnel, as you said. Essentially, really what changed and really what made or brought the progress on was the intervention of the CCMA. We realized after we had had some further engagement with the unions facilitated by the DMRE a couple of weeks back, that we were still in a deadlock. We weren't making much progress. The unions were sticking to their demands. And we realized that we needed a real third-party intervention. So we sent a letter to the unions and asked if they would be willing to undergo or participate in a mediation process overseen by the CCMA. And really it's in line with Section 150 of the Labour Relations Act. So effectively, CCMA intermediating or mediating between the two parties, and that's resulted in this deadlock now finally being lifted.
And what feedback are you getting from the union leaders themselves in terms of the timeline of the next few days or weeks, as it were? What are you expecting will happen next?
We haven't yet engaged with them. I mean, they had held their mass meeting earlier today. It only finished at about mid-afternoon. Essentially, that's where they go to their members. They have a mass meeting in a stadium at our Driefontein operations, and then asked whether the members wanted them to settle the strike. And their members gave them an unequivocal vote of confidence and said, please end the strike, accept the offer. So we hope to start engaging with them as soon as possible and then settle and sign the agreement early next week. So then we can lift the strike, lift the lockout and reopen the operations.
You're talking about reopening operations, and we're talking about how this, for the past 3 months, these two unions have still been striking. But this process has been coming on for a long time, last year already, when the other unions were involved. And eventually, when a number of the unions has agreed, it left the two big ones, Amcu and NUM. What kind of impact has it had on your business being involved in this ongoing, on-again, off-again strike since last year, really?
The strike's only been going on for about 3 months, but yes, we've been in negotiations, which does distract, from everybody, employees from their job, from management time, etc. So it is a long and drawn-out process, and it is distracting. But the actual strike and the shutdown of the operations or suspension of operations has been started on the 9th of March. So it's had an impact, but as we've said, the company's grown significantly in the last 5 or 6 years. Gold has become a lesser part of the portfolio. It used to be, generate all of our revenue. It's now only about 6% of our earnings. So, financially, it does have an impact, but it's not that severe. What concerns us more is the impact that it's had financially for our employees and then also communities, small businesses that rely on our operations. And that's why we were so keen to really bring an end to this impasse that we had with the unions.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time and for that update. Sibanye-Stillwater spokesperson James Wellstead joining us there with the very latest.